How are you holding up?
I'm okay.
I know. Damn it.
It's hard.
Yeah.
You know, I like having a goal, you know, like a purpose.
I know, and this is a shitty goal.
I know. I was working towards my goal.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, wait, what?
I know. Damn, brother. We got a lot of whiskey.
There you go.
Great.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Church Hall, which became Clubhouse, which in between was a bit of a coffee shop, led many lives.
Yeah. We're here today to begin the farewell to Clubhouse. Really a beautiful bar in the wrong place. And it's a mistake we've made before, and we'll make again, maybe. But, you know, location is everything. And this one in the basement, off the beaten path, but mostly in a neighborhood that's just dead. It couldn't survive. We never saw it coming. Here we are, just sort of the last week. We're gonna have some parties and have a good time and toast this baby and live and learn. You know, no regrets. We built something great. It had its moment, and we've got some other successes.
When I think about this place, there was a lot of love for this location, and it's because Jeff and I are native Washingtonians. We grew up here, and I know Jeff spent some time in his childhood here and has got a good concussion story about it. And I know as a teenager, I used to frequent this mall and like sneak cigarettes with my friends when I was like 14. This was the food court level of Georgetown Park. And, you know, when we were offered the opportunity to come and bring some life back to it, I think it really, you know, plucked at our heartstrings, these nostalgic heartstrings, to kind of bring some life back to Georgetown and be a part of it. And Georgetown and the whole like Northwest Corridor used to be the only nightlife in DC, really. That's where the strength of it was. And as the city expanded, it just moved eastward and new neighborhoods were emerging everywhere and the city was stretching out. And we looked at this blank space that was in here. This is literally a cold, dark shell, a concrete box underneath the parking ramp here. And we were excited with this blank canvas. And
it was walking through the doors, we were just looking here and we're just like, oh my God, this is fantastic. This mezzanine was here.
With no stairs.
With no stairs.
We had to climb this janky ass ladder to get up there.
Right.
It was really sketchy.
And we put the railings in, we built it. We've somehow managed to get the hood, the kitchen hood, through some convoluted way out and up and to the roof. And that was probably the toughest build that we've ever had.
Yeah.
But we did it. It opened. It was great. Then it was too great. All the kids from Georgetown and GW universities came, and their fake IDs were incredible. And so we got in trouble for that. Then we had to kind of backpedal from that. That's when we changed to Clubhouse.
It was like right up towards the end of the pandemic.
It's all this big haze of confusion.
We closed, we reopened, we had to close, we reopened. It was sort of this, you know, what are we doing? Nobody really knew.
And yet, you know, we were doing the same thing here that we have done at Franklin Hall, which is create a big, cool industrial place. Mm-hmm. And this is every bit as cool as Franklin Hall, and yet it does a quarter of the business. Yeah. So that tells you what you need to know about just people walking down the street and being nearby and coming in the door.
And I think, you know, Franklin Hall was part of the expansion east, 14th Street. When I was a kid, was known for having a lot of ladies of the evening. And now it's the most expensive real estate in the city. It's where all the nightlife is. It's where all the top restaurants are. And Franklin Hall's at the top of the 14th Street corridor, and it's part of it. It's not, you know, right in the heart of it, but it's where everybody's going and where nightlife moved to.
Yep.
And so I think there's really just a population flow that moved to different areas. We also didn't realize how much the wharf was going to have an impact on Georgetown. Like, we knew there was a waterfront here. We knew everything was what this place used to be. But the wharf, with its new development and sort of the Disneyfication of the waterfront that they did out there, really absorbed a ton of people and customers. Yeah. And especially in the summertime, Georgetown emptied out and the wharf was packed, so you couldn't get in there at all.
Yep. And then even here in the summer, we've got a waterfront just down the hill from us. And so on a nice night, everybody wants to be outside. There are a bunch of big bars down there, and that sort of pulls everybody. And, you know, cricket's here. Now, we're on a cold, snowy night in the winter. We've got lots of room, and people come in, and the fireplaces are great. But, you know, you need density and you need a presence, and we don't have either here. And so that ultimately is what killed it. We thought we could overcome it, and we have had places in basements that work great, but this one, the stairs were just a little too long. The crowd couldn't quite visualize what was at the bottom of those stairs, and do you really want to go down and find out? And
another big challenge was we're in historic Georgetown.
oh yeah, you can't have a sign.
We couldn't put a sign at the top of the stairs, so like wayfinding was impossible because you couldn't have a sign out there, you couldn't have it lit up. There's all these parameters about what it could be, and once you could do that, you had to submit it to one board and then to another board, and every building was historic, so you couldn't drill into the brick. You had to go and like have special clamps on the outside of the building, and you couldn't draw power to it. And it just made every little step that normally you don't even have to think about, you just get it done, was a process. And it was a 6-month process that required architects.
And
the
for some
costs of
reason,
everything was-
for the first time in my career, we went ahead and followed the rules. And
Sort of,
a little bit, but it's like, and then you drive up and down the street and you see people with all their signs of everything, and whatever the sign police come along and they're like, oh, that's not nice, but they don't.
I think we got a letter. I'm pretty sure we got a letter. We got a letter. We didn't follow.
Okay, we didn't follow.
You made
it
us
that well.
seem too straight-laced.
Yeah, we're not that. But this place had such potential, and could there be a 7-day-a-week crowd coming in here and really supporting this? It wasn't inexpensive rent. There were other, just the costs of being here were significant. It's a lot of square footage. The landlord has been great. They've worked with us every step of the way. We have no complaints. It's nobody's fault. I mean, we can't really blame any one thing on why this didn't work, but the pressure from, for instance, the hourly wage of bartenders going from $2.53 an hour, $2.73 an hour, to ultimately $18 an hour is where it's going to land, or whatever minimum wage becomes, is just something that is pushing people over a cliff, and that was eventually going to kill this anyway, I think. So that's one thing, and then we had the kids from the schools drinking here. We had to sort of back that up, big crowds, but then their spring break would come, or their winter break, or their summer break, and then we have crickets. And if you're a college bar, that's all you can be. You can't be like a college bar when college is in and then be like the neighborhood place the rest of the time.
And it's really pretty challenging if you've got a place that is just like boom and then bust. Staffing it is a real challenge. Everybody gets upset with you if you don't have enough staff. If you don't have enough people at the door, or you don't have enough bartenders, they can't get a drink. And so you hire up to accommodate that, and all of a sudden everybody's gone and it's crickets, and you've got all the staff here. Now you got to figure out where to move them around and what's going on with that. So I think it's just this lack of consistent business that was here in this neighborhood made the whole operational aspect of it really challenging as well. So not only are you staffing up and down, but you're rapidly adjusting food ordering and your beverage ordering, and trying to keep your cost of goods under control. So there's another dial that needed to be adjusted with that routinely.
I think that the thing that really killed it was we didn't have enough TVs. Close your eyes, close them, and tell me how many TVs are in this room right here that we're in.
16.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Is there one in the corner? 14. That was a good guess. That was a good guess. We had enough TVs. We could do pretty well during games, but it is crazy. We just drew the direct comparison to Franklin Hall, and Franklin Hall was just crushing it, on certain days, and we were doing okay. We never crushed it here. We never had like days where we're like, wow, this place has a future. And this business is really a marathon. You have to have a marathon mentality, because you could have the best day in the world, and then the 3 days following, all your people are drunk out. They can't come back. They're like, been there, done that. And so then it'll be real quiet. And so really it is the average of those 4 days becomes kind of the baseline. And so we look at a business like this and we're like, yeah, if we can average 10 grand a day throughout the year, that's going to be great, which you would think would be something you could do, but we could never get there. It's sad. Yeah.
And even during special events where like World Cup, where it's just like busting at the seams, we had a line out the door, up the staircase, and out onto Wisconsin Avenue, but we still couldn't hit the sales volume that we were doing at Franklin Hall. that top line, we just never got close to it. That was really frustrating to know that we kind of like hit the ceiling and we weren't sure how to get beyond that level without doing some dramatic changes here. So it's...
If we were to redesign this place, if we came in today, when we walked through the door, we saw this balcony and we saw this kind of cozy area to put a bar, and then naturally to stack a bar directly above it, which means all of the beer lines and everything else and plumbing and everything can just double and be right on top of each other and close by. But really what this place needed was a bar along this entire wall here. Yeah. So that when you walked through the front door, you were greeted by a bar and you saw a scene and something happening. And then, would that have worked? I don't know, maybe. The kitchen could have delivered food directly to the bar. But, we did what we did and we gave it our best shot. And after all that, 9 years?
9 years.
Yeah, 9 years of some decent years, never great years. And basically we've just been, since the pandemic, we've just been treading water. Once again, the landlords worked with us. We've done our best. It's been great communication. And if I were to talk about what makes a good relationship with landlords, we're in the same game. We want mutual success and we're teammates. And the group here has been terrific. I would recommend them to anybody. And they cared. They cared, we cared. We just couldn't make it work.
Yeah, I think when the landlord bought this asset, that there was more problems and more difficulty with the neighborhood and the historic nature of it than even they had expected and even they had dealt with. I mean, they're originally from Atlanta. They've been really successful up in Manhattan and really just ran into an anchor in Georgetown, not in a good way, to basically drag behind them. It was just everything was a challenge. Yeah. Nothing came easy here. And I think when running a business and creating a business is so hard on its own that any resistance you're running into, and if you just keep hitting it over and over and over again consistently, it just really drags on you mentally, physically, financially. Yep. You kind of want to look for the soft spots when you're creating a business, like water running down a hill. Just follow that natural path that it wants to go, and if
funny you should mention that.
And if there's no sort of natural path happening, it's really a challenge to create that.
So we've had water run down the hill twice into this place from the broken water main at Wisconsin and M. Wisconsin and M is the intersection in Georgetown, and we are half a block off of that. Yet you'd never know we're here. But that water does, because water finds the path of least resistance and it comes right in here. And we've had recently just weeping walls because of a water main break. And that costs us how many days of business? It doesn't pause the rent. It doesn't pause the utilities, it doesn't pause the payroll, but it means you got to stop and clean and do all the stuff. And you can't just go to your insurance company every time you stub your toe. And so we just, buckled down, cleaned it up, got it back open. But it is like, if you think about that number of days in a year and you just start checking off days that you lose for too much heat where nobody wants to go out, or a beautiful day where nobody wants to go in, or it's like we have a limited number of days when we can make it, and to lose any of those days to the broken water main, that hurts.
And when do those days happen? It's always when there's something big planned.
Or Saturday, when something big is happening.
That's when something always breaks.
That's when the air conditioning goes. That's when the beer system stops working. That's when the power goes off. Yeah.
All 8 toilets exploded. Must be a Saturday. What law is that, by the way? When
Dawson's law.
When something.
Right. Yeah, it's brutal. That being said, this has been fun. I mean, our partnership has been, we've had some winners, we've had some sort of tweeners, and we've had some big dogs. But you can't have any of those if you don't try. So you can't have any of that if you don't get out there and take a swing for it. And we've done that, and I got no regrets.
No, I mean, I think that's the secret of entrepreneurship, is just the constant one foot in front of another, pushing yourself forward, never giving up. It's just a constant grind. It's always hard, and it's really just keep pushing forward every time. Yeah. So, I mean, that's how you get the big winners. You're not going to bat 1,000. It's just not possible.
No.
But when you do hit that triple or home run, man, does it feel good, and you can turn it into, something that's really life-changing for you, both mentally and financially, and it's a great thing when it happens. But moments like this, you take so much more and learn so much more from your failures than you ever will from your successes. And so I think having that positive outlook in your failures is really what's most important, and just a huge part of what life is all about.
They say failure is not an option. Well, it is, and it's a reality, but it's also an incredible educator. And not that, we needed education at this point. There's always learning, but
We've been beaten with that stick enough.
yeah, exactly. Ow. I was talking to Brian Harrison, one of our good friends and fellow bar owners, and our line is dumb enough to try, too stupid to quit. Yeah. And I think that kind of sums up what it takes, in this business. So this has been a great run. I don't think, we can beat the horse too much further, but this will be a nice one in the rearview mirrors to remember. And hopefully the new group comes in here and finds incredible success. I wish them nothing but luck. We don't there's nothing in this for us to be like, oh man, those guys, they're kicking us out, our landlord, blah.
No,
It doesn't work that way. We had our chance, we did our thing. And if there's a new group who comes in here and they've got a better plan and deeper pockets and they can make it, into what we had hoped it would be or what they hope it will be, then
I would be so happy to come back here, have a $25 scotch by the fireplaces that we built that are gorgeous.
that we're not paying for.
And not have to pay the $45,000 in rent.
There you go. I guess that sort of sums it up. So,
all right. Well, to the next one.
To the next one. Cheers.